Hello students, how are you? How was going? Today we have a new topic. Okay students, bring your book, open page 30, okay? Today we have the respiratory system. All of you, please students, bring the book, open page number 30. Today we have and we will discuss the new topic, our respiratory system, okay? Have you ever think about how our lungs and what is the respiratory system? Who can tell me? Do you have any information about that? Look at this picture. You will imagine how our lungs and how our respiratory system work. Do you see? Today we will explain and I will show you how our respiratory system, okay, how our respiratory system work. Okay students, are you ready? Please focus on the topic because this is very important and somehow difficult. That's why you should look at what I tell you, okay? Step by step, be with me. I will show all the part how the respiratory system work. Okay students, are you ready? Because I will start. Okay, look at her. The respiratory system. Your body use a lot of energy, okay? That process while our respiratory system, that the oxygen breathe in and carbon dioxide breathe out, they need energy, okay? They need a lot of energy in this process. So your cells need a lot of oxygen, okay? That is why our cells need a lot of food and oxygen, okay? They need what? They need food and oxygen because we use that energy in every movement and work. You get the oxygen your cells need by breathing, okay? You get the oxygen your cells need by breathing, okay? We get oxygen by what? By breathing. And okay, in this process called breathing, when you inhale, okay, inhale, it means while you get oxygen, inhale. In this process our lungs full of oxygen, okay? Our lungs is full of oxygen while you inhale, okay, air in outside, you inhale oxygen too inside our lungs, is called inhale. Several liters of air are pulled into where? Into your body. Several liters of air, okay? Your lungs is full, okay? Okay, do it with me. You will understand how our lungs and how many airs into in our body, how many liters. For example, look, your body and your lungs full of air and oxygen, you see? Several liters of air pulled into your body, okay, in our body. The air filtered by tiny hairs into your nose and warmed by capillaries that line the nasal passage. While we inhale oxygen in our trachea, in our tubes, we have a tiny hair that clean and warmed that air to passage to our lungs, okay students? That are filtered by a tiny hairs into your nose and warmed by a capillaries that line the nasal passage. Warm, clean air then travels down your trachea or wind pipe, okay? The air in our nose or mouth in then to trachea are warmed and cleaned by our teeny hairs and then go to the trachea. Then if you look, you will understand more easily how our respiratory system work and clean that air. Look at this video.
In order to stay alive, the body has to breathe air. We breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. This process is known as respiration. Breathing happens automatically. Every day, the body breathes about 20,000 times. By the time we reach 70 years old, that's about 600 million breaths. All of this breathing occurs because of the respiratory system, which includes the nose, throat, voice box, windpipe, and lungs. At the top of the respiratory system, the nostrils bring air into the nose, where it's filtered, warmed, and moistened. Tiny hairs called cilia protect the nasal passageways and other parts of the respiratory tract and filter out dust and other particles that enter the nose through the breathed air. Air can also be breathed in through the mouth. The two airways of the nose and mouth meet up at the pharynx, which is located at the back of the throat. The pharynx carries both food and air and is used for digestion and respiration. One path is for food. This is called the esophagus, which leads on to the stomach. The other side is for air. It's called the trachea. A small flap of tissue, called the epiglottis, covers the air-only passage when we swallow. This stops food and liquid from going into the lungs. The larynx, or voice box, is located at the top of the trachea, the air-only pipe. This is where our vocal cords are. The trachea, or windpipe, which is a 2 to 3 centimetre tube, then extends downwards from the bottom of the larynx for about 12 centimetres. The walls of the windpipe are made strong by stiff rings of cartilage that keep it open. The trachea is also lined with tiny hairs. They sweep foreign particles and fluids out of the airway, keeping them from entering the lungs. The windpipe divides into two branches, and each one of these enters one of the two lungs of the body. Each branch resembles the limbs of a tree dividing into smaller, finer branches called bronchioles. The bronchioles end in tiny air sacs called alveoli, which look a bit like grapes. These structures enable fresh air to get to the air sacs, which are surrounded by tiny blood vessels or capillaries. The oxygen passes through these air sacs and travels through the capillary walls into the bloodstream. At the same
Okay, student, this is our respiratory system, how we get the air and how they work. Okay, student, do you understand? In our nose, the air are warm and clean air, then travels down to where? To trachea or windpipe. In your chest, okay, in your chest here, this is our chest, look, this is our chest, okay. In your chest, the trachea branches into two tubes called bronchi. Okay, the trachea divided in two tubes called what? Called bronchi. Each tube leads into a lung. Okay, then each one go to in different tubes. Look at that picture. Do you see? This is trachea that divided into two bronchi. Look, the trachea are divided into two bronchi. Okay, and then each one, look at this picture, each one go to our lungs. Okay, do you see? Trachea divided into two bronchi and then go to our lungs. Okay, students, that our trachea that divided into bronchi. Look, each tube leads into a lung. The lungs that bronchi divided into smaller and smaller tubes. At the end of the smallest tube are teeny air sacs called what? Called alveoli. at the end of the smallest tubes are a teeny air sacs. Call it what? Call it alveoli. This one. This is our alveoli sacs. Okay, that's a very very small and trillion or million of sacs we have end of the alveoli. Maybe you have a picture. Look at the picture that you will get. This is alveoli. Look, this is alveoli. Do you see alveoli as our sac that contain oxygen? Okay, in the point of the respiratory systems exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. In our alveoli that exchange what? Exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. Okay, this is our alveoli. Also this one, do you see? This is our alveoli. Do you see? Very very small and millions of sacs is called alveoli. This is our alveoli that exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide here, okay, in our alveoli. Okay, students, this is our alveoli that exchange what? Oxygen and carbon dioxide. The walls of the alveoli are only one cell, thick, and are surrounded by capillaries. Okay, our alveoli are only one cell and very thick and strong. Okay, that's surrounded by capillaries. The capillaries surrounded the alveoli get blood from the that they get where the capillaries surrounded the alveoli get blood from the pulmonary arteries coming from the heart. Okay, they get blood while in this pulmonary arteries coming where? Coming in our heart is full of blood. This blood contains a lot of carbon dioxide. This is waste, okay? And then carbon dioxide is waste produced. Carbon dioxide waste produced by the process that release energy in cells. Carbon dioxide diffuse through the thin walls of the alveoli and into air that will be exhaled, okay, at the same time. This is in our happens in where? In our alveoli. Okay, that carbon dioxide coming and then they exchange. Carbon dioxide is released and waste product, and then by a process diffusion through the thin walls of the alveoli and into the wall be exhaled at the same time. Oxygen from inhaled air diffuses through the alveoli and into red blood cells in the capillaries. Okay, the oxygen rich blood then flows from the capillaries into pulmonary veins and back to our heart. Okay, back our heart that full of oxygen. From the heart, oxygen rich blood is pumped to other part of the body. Okay, that this is the our exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen. That look at this video how they exchange in our alveoli.
In time, carbon dioxide transfers from the bloodstream into the air sacs, where it gets breathed out of the body. When we exercise, the body needs more oxygen to feed the muscles as they work harder. The body responds by breathing more quickly and deeply. As the cells of the muscles use up more oxygen, the lungs have to work harder to keep up the supply. The respiratory system then speeds up to supply the body with much needed oxygen, and also to get rid of the carbon dioxide waste in the system. Over time, exercising also helps our chest cavity to get bigger, which enables the body to increase the amount of air it takes in. More capillaries form around the air sacs, so the body gets better at swapping oxygen and carbon dioxide gases. We can see how the body's respiratory system helps the body to move about and is influenced by regular and
Okay, student, this is how they exchange in our alveoli. Look, this is our alveoli. Look at this one. The gas exchange of the oxygen and carbon dioxide take place in alveoli. Okay, the gas exchange of the oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place in the alveoli and then removed to outside. Okay, for example, look at this picture. The lungs are on separate circuits of the circulatory system. The heart pumps oxygen poor blood. Okay, the heart pumps oxygen poor blood. It means they don't have more oxygen through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs. Okay, then the oxygen rich blood travels through. They have a lot of in our lungs oxygen in our alveoli through the pulmonary veins back to the heart. Okay, back to the heart. This is heart. Okay, look at here. This is heart and pulmonary arteries, and then we come to our lungs. Then they take oxygen, go back to the heart. They circle like this. Okay, this is our circulatory system and how they exchange what? Oxygen and carbon dioxide. Look at this picture. I will show you the part of our circulatory system, our nose. Okay, our nose, while they inhale oxygen and then come to the pharynx and then larynx and then the air warmed and cleaned by a teeny higher in our pharynx and larynx and nose come to the trachea. This is our trachea, and then trachea divided into bronchi. Okay, do you see? This is our bronches divided to our lungs. This is the smaller part is called bronchial. In end of the bronches, we, as I told you, we have alveoli that exchange air. Okay, we take oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Okay, this picture. Okay, you should write down part of those pictures. This is homework. Okay, you should now all the organs and parts that they work together to take oxygen. Okay, draw this picture in your notebook. Okay, I will send you. Okay, students, I will send you. Draw this picture and write down the part. Okay, how our body work. Okay, write down, draw this picture in your notebook and send me back by a personal number. You should know all the part, how our body and respiratory system work. Okay, if you have any question, okay, ask me. Okay, students, do you understand? And what happens in the alveoli? This is a question. What happens in alveoli? In our alveoli, as I told you, exchange air. We take oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. The place of exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide happens in our alveoli. Okay, students, happens in our alveoli. Look, the gas exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide taken by a alveoli. In the alveoli, this is the answer in this question. What happens in the alveoli? The gas exchange of the oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place in the alveoli. Okay, this is the very important question to memorize. Okay, maybe I will ask this question in the exam. You should know the answer. What happens in the alveoli? Okay, exchange air. If you have any question, ask me in the group. anytime. If you have any question, okay, I will be ready and answer your question. Till the next week, goodbye.